Quite often when I'm coaching people, emotional baggage can come up for them. It can be attached to a personal relationship, or indeed it can be attached to a work relationship or person and a negative experience that has happened. Now, how do you know whether you're carrying emotional baggage that needs better packing? Here are some things that you might identify with. Firstly, you might retell negative stories about that person or relationship over and over again. You might be oversharing it with people you don't know very well. Indeed, you might be boring yourself or boring others because you keep on talking about it. Secondly, you get tempted, or you might get tempted to sabotage that new relationship. So you might look for similarities that play out with a previous negative experience, or you might decide that it's not going to work without even giving it a chance. And lastly, if you're still feeling resentful or bitter or angry about a personal relationship, that will give you a really good indication that you need to pack those bags better. So what can you do about it? Firstly, admit some of those things need packing. That's the first step. Then you can do something about it. Secondly, you can reflect on the relationship or the situation or the person and think about where your accountability or responsibility lay within that. Now, I know that might be hard. This isn't about falling on your sword and coming up with all the things that you should have done and cascading yourself about it. Think of a couple of things that you could have done perhaps better, made a different choice, spoke up more at the time, whatever it may be, just a couple of things. And the reason this is important is that it helps you take control of how you react and how you feel about it. Next, the grieving process is a really important process for people to go through. We miss people when a relationship breaks down, and it's only normal. So that feeling sometimes of anger or sadness or denial, resentment, a number of those things come up for us. And it's a good process to go through, but do it knowing that you're going to get to the other side and there's light and there's happiness at the other side. Quite often we become a hostage of that process and it keeps us miserable for far, far longer than it need be. And finally, watch out for resentment as it relates to a bitterness or a hardness in you. I know this can develop after a traumatic or a bad relationship experience. However, if you hear yourself saying things like, I'm never going to get married again, or I'm never going to date again, I'm not sure how realistic that is, and it would be a shame to do that. So create boundaries for yourself. Really think about what's non-negotiable for you and what kind of relationship you want in the future, because the more open your heart can be, the more open you are to love and happiness, and it might just be around the corner.